Over the past 9 episodes, we've examined 9 catastrophic failures. Episode 1, CrowdStrike, 8.4 million computers crashed. Episode 2, LastPass, password manager couldn't keep passwords safe. Episode 3, Unity, $10 billion trust tax. Episode 4, Silicon Valley Bank, 36-hour bank run. Episode 5, FTX, $32 billion fraud. Episode 6, 23andMe, DNA data bankruptcy. Episode 7, Boeing, 346 deaths from culture erosion. Episode 8, ERP disasters, 70% failure rate. Episode 9, Fastly, half the internet in 49 minutes. 9 failures, different industries, different technologies, different causes. But here's what I haven't told you yet. They're all the same failure, different symptoms, same disease. Every breakdown we've examined reveals the same 3 fundamental patterns. And once you see these patterns, you can predict the next breakdown before it happens. That's what this episode is about. I'm Tony, and this is The Breakdown Economy, Season 1 finale. Today, the 3 universal laws of system failure that connect every breakdown we've covered, and the next disasters they predict. Let's start by looking at what these 9 failures have in common. At first glance, nothing. Different industries. Technology, CrowdStrike, LastPass, Fastly. Finance, SVB, FTX. Manufacturing, Boeing. Biotech, 23andMe. Enterprise software, ERP. Gaming, Unity, different failure modes. Technical, CrowdStrike, Fastly. Security, LastPass, 23andMe. Business model, Unity, 23andMe, FTX. Cultural, Boeing. Execution, ERP. Concentration risk, SVB, Fastly, different scales. Deaths, 346, Boeing. Financial loss, 32B, FTX. Users affected, 8.4M, CrowdStrike. 15M, 23andMe. Duration, 36 hours, SVB. 49 minutes, Fastly. Completely different failures, right? Wrong. Watch what happens when we look at the underlying dynamics instead of surface symptoms. CrowdStrike, kernel-level deployment. Fastly, CDN configuration. Connection. Single point of failure at infrastructure scale. SVB, customer concentration. Fastly, CDN concentration. Connection. Centralization creates coordinated failure. FTX, fraud as innovation. 23andMe, data as asset illusion. Connection. Misaligned incentives, plus regulatory gaps. Boeing, culture erosion. ERP, Big Bang over phased. Connection. Efficiency over resilience until catastrophe unity. Platform power. LastPass, disclosure failures. Connection. Trust bankruptcy is irreversible. See the pattern? Every failure traces back to 3 fundamental problems. Law 1. Optimization fragility. Systems optimized for efficiency fail catastrophically under stress. Law 2. Complexity collapse. Systems too complex to understand fail in ways we can't predict. Law 3. Misaligned convergence. Systems with misaligned incentives fail when interests diverge. These aren't specific to technology or finance or manufacturing. These are universal laws of how complex systems fail, and they're everywhere. Let's examine each law in detail and see how it connects our episodes. Law number 1. Systems optimized for efficiency fail catastrophically under stress. What this means: when you optimize a system for normal operation, you remove buffers, redundancy, slack. The system becomes fragile to abnormal conditions. Failure is fast and cascading. How this appeared in our episodes. CrowdStrike, Episode 1. Optimized for rapid threat response, deploy updates fast. Removed, staged rollout, testing buffers, kill switches. Fragility, single bad update, 8.4 mem machines crashed simultaneously. Why fragility? No safety net, 100% deployment, no rollback SVB, Episode 4. Optimized for serving one customer type, tech startups, VC funded. Removed, customer diversification, deposit stability. Fragility, when tech sector turned, all customers withdrew simultaneously. Why fragility? Coordinated behavior, no buffer from diverse depositors. Fastly, Episode 9. Optimized for internet scale performance, 85% of traffic through 3 CDNs. Removed, redundancy. Most sites use 1 CDN. Fragility. 1 CDN fails, thousands of sites down. Why fragility? Centralization for efficiency created single point of failure. Boeing, Episode 7. Optimized for quarterly earnings, stock buybacks, cost cutting. Removed, quality buffers, inspection redundancy, engineering culture. Fragility, missing bolts, MCAS disasters. Why fragility? Decades of margin removal until failure inevitable. ERP implementations, Episode 8. Optimized for speed to deployment, Big Bang approach. Removed, learning phases, rollback capability, gradual migration. Fragility, 70% failure rate, companies bankrupted. Why fragility? No room for error, all or nothing approach. The pattern, maximum resilience, slow, expensive, redundant, survives stress, optimization pressure, efficient operation, fast, cheap, lean. Fails under stress. Every single breakdown we examined was optimized for efficiency. CrowdStrike optimized for speed, deploy updates fast. SVB optimized for growth, serve high-growth tech. Fastly optimized for performance, centralized CDN. Boeing optimized for profits, cost-cutting. And when stress came, a bad update, a sector downturn, a configuration error, a culture crisis. The optimization became fragility. Why this happens? Reason number 1, normal operation is 99.9% of time. Resilience is wasted resources, 99.9% of the time. Efficiency pays off every day. So we optimize for efficiency. Reason number 2, failure is abstract until it happens. We've never had a major outage until we do. Our customers are stable until they're not. Culture is fine until it collapses. Optimized for 85% bed utilization, cost efficiency. Fragility, pandemic, overflow, rationing power grids. Optimized for interconnection, efficiency. Fragility, Texas freeze, Cascaden. Failure food systems. Optimized for centralized processing, efficiency. Fragility, 1 plant closes, nationwide shortages. Reason. 3. Efficiency is measurable, resilience is not. We reduce costs, 15%. Visible win. We maintained redundancy. No visible benefit until disaster. This isn't just tech or finance, just-in-time supply chains. Optimized for low inventory costs, fragility, COVID exposed, global shortages, hospital capacity. Optimized for 85% bed utilization, cost efficiency. Fragility, pandemic, overflow, rationing power grids. Optimized for interconnection, efficiency. Fragility, Texas freeze, cascading failure. Food systems. Optimized for centralized processing, efficiency. Fragility, 1 plant closes, nationwide shortages. The law. Optimization removes the buffers that absorb stress. When stress exceeds remaining capacity, failure is fast, cascading, and catastrophic. We optimize ourselves into fragility. Every time. Law. 2. Systems too complex to understand fail in ways we can't predict. What this means. As systems grow more interconnected, they become too complex for any individual to comprehend. Emergent behaviors appear that weren't designed. Failures propagate through unexpected paths. How this appeared in our episodes. LastPass, Episode 2. Complexity, encryption system, plus cloud storage, plus DevOps access, plus home computers. Collapse, attacker chain, home PC, corporate vault, production keys, customer data. Unpredicted. No one anticipated home computer as weak link in security chain. Why complex? Too many integration points, unclear security boundaries. FTX, Episode 5. Complexity, exchange, plus hedge fund, plus token creation, plus political donations, plus real estate. Collapse, customer deposits, Alameda bets, FTT collateral, insolvency hidden. Unpredicted, self-created tokens as balance sheet assets, fake collateral loop. Why complex, deliberately opaque to hide fraud, 23andMe, Episode 6. Complexity, genetics, plus health predictions, plus therapeutics, plus data licensing, plus subscriptions, collapse, one-time revenue, plus perpetual liability, plus failed drug development, bankruptcy, unpredicted, data as liability exceeding data as asset. Why complex, multiple business models, non-sustainable ERP implementations, Episode 8. Complexity, 20 years of customizations, plus shadow IT, plus tribal knowledge, plus vendor integrations. Collapse, migration, discovers, data in spreadsheets, processes undocumented, dependencies unknown. Unpredicted, simple migration reveals systems far more complex than anyone knew. Why complex? Organic growth over decades, no one has full picture fastly. Episode 9. Complexity, your site, Shopify, Cloudflare, AWS, Fastly, dependency chain. Collapse, companies discovered, Fastly dependencies they didn't know existed. Unpredicted, we don't use Fastly. Our vendor's vendor does. Why complex? Multi-layered dependencies, opacity. The pattern. Phase 1. Simple system. Few components, clear relationships, predictable behavior. One person can understand it. Phase 2. Complicated system. Many components, complex but documented relationships, mostly predictable. Team can understand it. Phase 3. Complex system, interconnected components, emergent behaviors, unpredictable interactions. No one fully understands it. Phase 4. Collapse, failure through unexpected path. We didn't know X depended on Y. That's never happened before. Surprise is inevitable. Every breakdown involved complexity beyond understanding. LastPass didn't anticipate home PC as attack vector. FTX's structure so complex, even executives lost track. 23andMe's business model dependencies unclear until failure. ERP migrations discover complexity during go-live, too late. Fastly outage exposed dependency chains no one mapped. Why this happens? Reason number 1. Systems grow organically. Each addition seems small. Cumulative complexity invisible. No one redesigns from scratch. Reason number 2. Specialization fragments knowledge. Network team knows networking. Security team knows security. No one knows the whole system. Integration points are gaps in understanding. Reason number 3. Documentation lags reality. As built, as documented. Workarounds become permanent. Shadow IT emerges. Real system is mystery. This isn't just software. Financial systems, 2008. Complexity, CDOs, synthetic CDOs, credit default swaps, collapse. No one understood total exposure. Unpredicted, AIG collapse nearly took down system healthcare. Complexity, insurance, plus billing, plus EMR, plus regulations, plus prior auth. Collapse, wrong patient records, billing errors, treatment delays. Unpredicted, systems too complex for practitioners to navigate supply chains. Complexity, global sourcing, plus JIT. Multi-tier suppliers. Collapse, COVID. We didn't know our supplier's supplier was in Wuhan. Unpredicted. Dependencies invisible until disruption. The law. As systems exceed human comprehension, failures become surprises. We didn't know X depended on Y. That's never happened before. No one anticipated this scenario. These aren't excuses. They're symptoms of complexity exceeding understanding, and the complexity keeps growing. Law number 3. Systems with misaligned incentives fail when interests diverge. What this means? When participants have different goals, systems work during interest alignment, but fail when interests diverge. The divergence is inevitable because incentives differ. How this appeared in our episodes. Unity, episode 3. Alignment period. Unity and developers both want growth. Incentives. Unity. Revenue growth. Developers. Predictable costs. Divergence. Unity needs revenue. Retroactive fee. Trust bankruptcy. Why misaligned? Platform profitability. Developer success. FTX. Episode 5. Alignment period. FTX and customers both want trading platform. Incentives. FTX. Use customer funds for bets. Customers. Safe custody. Divergence. Was always misaligned. Fraud. Revealed when bets failed. Why misaligned? Custodian owner incentives Boeing. Episode 7. Alignment period. Pre-merger. Engineering culture aligned with safety. Incentives. Post-merger. Finance. Quarterly earnings. Engineers. Quality. Divergence. Cost pressure. Skip quality. MCS. Door plug disasters. Why misaligned? Shareholder returns. Safety culture. ERP implementations. Episode 8. Alignment period. Consultants and clients both want implementation. Incentives. Consultants. Maximize billable hours. Client. Finish fast. Divergence. Scope creep. Delays. Cost overruns. Why misaligned? Hourly billing. Fixed budget 23andMe. Episode 6. Alignment period. Customers and 23andMe both want DNA insights. Incentives. 23andMe. Monetize data forever. Customers. One-time insights. Divergence. 23andMe needs recurring revenue. Customers have no reason to pay again. Why misaligned? One-time payment. Perpetual responsibility. The pattern. Phase 1. Aligned interests. Everyone benefits from cooperation. We grow together. System seems stable. Phase 2. Latent misalignment. Incentives differ, but not yet critical. Minor disagreements. Manageable tension. Phase 3. Divergence. External pressure. Market. Competition. Growth. Misalignment becomes critical. One party optimizes for themselves. Phase 4. Trust bankruptcy. Betrayed party exits. Revolts. You change the deal. System collapses. Every breakdown involved interests that diverged. Unity wanted revenue. Developers wanted predictability. FTX wanted to use deposits. Customers wanted custody. Boeing Finance wanted profits. Engineers wanted quality. Consultants wanted billable hours. Clients wanted completion. Why this happens? Reason number 1. Alignment is temporary. Early stage. Everyone wants growth. Mature stage. Interests diverge. Profitability versus sustainability. Pressure reveals misalignment. Reason. Number 2. Power enables extraction. When one party gains leverage. Temptation to optimize for self. Platform lock-in, customer concentration, etc. Reason. Number 3. Short-term versus long-term. Executives. Quarterly earnings. Short-term. Customers charge employees. Sustained value. Long-term. Misalignment built into structure. This isn't just business. Social media. Users want connection, information. Platforms want engagement, monetizable. Divergence, outrage, engagement, toxic feeds. Healthcare. Patients want better health. Insurers want lower costs. Divergence, deny treatments, prior auth barriers. Education. Students want learning, job skills. Institutions want enrollment, rankings. Divergence, grade inflation, irrelevant majors. Housing. Buyers want affordable homes. Investors want appreciation. Divergence, homes as investment, unaffordable for living. The law, systems function when interests align. When pressure mounts and interests diverge. One party optimizes for themselves. The system breaks, and misalignment is structural. It's not a bug. It's how incentives work. So we have 3 laws. Law number 1. Optimization. Fragility systems optimized for efficiency fail catastrophically under stress. Law number 2. Complexity collapse. Systems too complex to understand fail in ways we can't predict. Law number 3. Misaligned convergence systems with misaligned incentives fail when interests diverge. Now here's where it gets interesting. These laws interact. Optimization plus complexity. Remove redundancy. Optimization. System becomes too complex to understand without buffers. Complexity. Result? Unpredictable cascading failures. Example, CrowdStrike, fastly complexity, plus misalignment, system too complex for oversight, complexity. Bad actors exploit opacity, misalignment. Result, fraud hidden in complexity. Example, FTX, LastPass breach chain, misalignment, plus optimization. Optimize for one party's interests, misalignment. Remove protections for other party, optimization. Result, trust bankruptcy when revealed. Example, Unity, Boeing, ERP Consultant Center, all three. Optimized for efficiency, complex beyond understanding, misaligned incentives. Result, catastrophic, unpredictable, inevitable failure. Example, Silicon Valley Bank SVB is the perfect case. Optimization, fragility. Optimized for, serving tech startups, growth, efficiency. Removed, customer diversification, sector buffers, fragility. All customers reacted simultaneously. Complexity collapse, complex, interest rate risk, plus customer concentration, plus network effects, plus bond portfolio, collapse, interactions no one predicted at that speed. Unpredicted, 36-hour bank run, faster than anyone thought possible. Misaligned convergence, alignment period. SVB and startups both wanted growth. Incentives, SVB, deposit growth. Startups, capital deployment. Divergence. When funding dried up, all startups withdrew simultaneously. Misaligned, banks' interests, stable deposits. Startup interests, access to capital. All three laws. One failure, and this pattern repeats. So what's the meta pattern connecting all 9 episodes? Phase 1. System design. Optimize for normal operation, efficiency. Grow organically, increasing complexity. Align interests temporarily, growth phase. Phase 2. Optimization, pressure. Market competition demands efficiency. Costs cut, redundancy removed, short-term incentives dominate. Phase 3. Complexity accumulation. System grows beyond anyone's understanding. Dependencies multiply. Documentation lags reality. Phase 4. Latent misalignment. Interests begin diverging. Power imbalances emerge. One party gains leverage. Phase 5. Trigger event. External stress. Market turn, tech failure, etc. System push beyond normal parameters. Buffers exhausted. Phase 6. Cascading failure. Optimization fragility. Fast propagation. Complexity. Unpredicted failure modes. Misalignment. Trust bankruptcy. Phase 7. Aftermath. No one could have predicted this. Temporary fixes. Return to phase 1. Every breakdown followed this exact cycle. CrowdStrike optimized, speed. Plus complex, kernel. Plus trigger, bad update. Cascading crash. LastPass, optimized, cost. Plus complex, multi-system. Plus misaligned, disclosure. Trust loss. Unity, optimized, revenue. Plus misaligned, platform power. Plus trigger, pricing. Developer revolt, SVB, optimized, concentration. Plus complex, network effects. Plus trigger, sector turn. Bank run, FTX, misaligned, fraud. Plus complex, opacity. Plus trigger, exposure. Collapse, 23andMe, optimized, one time. Plus misaligned, data liability. Plus trigger, market. Bankruptcy, Boeing, optimized, cost. Plus misaligned, culture. Plus trigger, quality gap. Disasters, ERP, optimized, Big Bang. Plus complex, migration. Plus misaligned, consultants, 70% failure. Fastly, optimized, centralization. Plus complex dependencies. Plus trigger, config. Internet down, same cycle, every time. And here's the terrifying part. We're in phase 2 to 4 for dozens of systems right now. We just don't know which ones will hit phase 6 next. So let's use these 3 laws to predict the next breakdowns. Systems at highest risk. Category 1. Highly optimized critical infrastructure candidates. GPS, GNSS systems. Entire world on one constellation. Global payment networks, SWIFT, Visa, MasterCard duopoly. Undersea internet cables, 70% of traffic, vulnerable. Cloud regions, AWS US East 1 is 30% of internet. Why at risk? Optimization, centralized for efficiency. Complexity, global dependencies. Fragility, single points of failure. Predicted failure? What? Regional cloud outage lasting days, not hours. When? Next. 2 to 5 years. Impact, significant portion of internet services offline. Trigger, cascading failure from edge case or attack. Category 2, complex financial instruments systems. Candidates. Stablecoins, crypto pegged to dollar, complex backing. Leveraged ETFs, complex derivatives, daily rebalancing. High-frequency trading, algorithmic complexity. Private credit markets, opacity interconnection. Why at risk? Complexity, too complex to fully understand. Misalignment, profit stability. Optimization, leverage for returns. Predicted failure. What? Stablecoin depegging cascade, like Terra, Luna, but bigger. When? Next 1-3 years. Impact, crypto market crash, possibly affecting traditional finance. Trigger, interest rate stress or backing asset failure. Category 3, platform-dependent ecosystems candidates. App Store economy, Apple's 30% tax, developer dependency. AWS-dependent startups, entire business on one cloud. Google Workspace businesses, data, email, collaboration. Salesforce ecosystems, CRM, entire business process. Why at risk? Misalignment, platform profit ecosystem health. Optimization, single vendor for efficiency. Complexity, deep integration, high switching costs. Predicted failure, what? Major platform pricing change or policy shift, Unity style. When? Next 2 to 4 years. Impact, thousands of businesses disrupted simultaneously. Trigger, platform seeking profitability under investor pressure. Category 4, AI automation systems. Candidates, LLM hallucinations at scale, automated decision-making. Autonomous vehicle fleet failures, edge case encounter. AI-powered medical diagnosis, false confidence. Algorithmic trading, flash crash potential. Why at risk? Complexity, black box decision-making. Optimization, speed, scale over safety. Misalignment, optimization metric. Human values. Predicted failure. What? AI system making critical decisions fails in correlated way across many instances. When? Next, 1 to 2 years. Already happening in small ways. Impact, depends on domain, medical, deaths, financial, crash. Trigger, edge case, all systems encounter simultaneously. Category 5, supply chain concentration candidates. Semiconductor manufacturing, TSMC, 60% of advanced chips. Pharmaceutical ingredients, China-India concentration. Rare earth elements, China, 80% production. Food processing, 4 companies, 80% of beef processing. Why at risk? Optimization, efficiency through consolidation. Complexity, global just-in-time dependencies. Fragility, no redundancy. Predicted failure. What? Critical supply disruption, geopolitical, disaster, or operational. When? Next 3 to 7 years. Impact, global shortages, price spikes, economic disruption. Trigger, Taiwan conflict, natural disaster, or trade war. These aren't random guesses. These are applications of the 3 laws to current systems. Every system I just listed exhibits high optimization, efficiency over resilience. High complexity, beyond full understanding. Latent misalignment, interests will diverge under pressure. They're in phase 3 to 4 of the cycle, waiting for the trigger. So what do you do with this knowledge? You can't prevent all failures, but you can. Action 1. Identify fragility in your systems. Questions to ask. Where have we optimized aggressively? Cost-cutting initiatives. Removed redundancy. Single vendor dependencies. What buffers have we removed? Inventory, just in time. Staff, lean operations. Time, compressed schedules. What happens under 2x normal stress? 2x traffic. Do systems hold? Action. 2. Map complexity. You don't understand mapping exercise. Draw your actual dependency map. Not org chart. Not official architecture. 2x volume. Can processes scale? 2x failure rate. Do backups work? If you can't answer yes to stress test questions, you're fragile. Action. Reintroduce strategic buffers. Multi-vendor for critical dependencies. Capacity buffers. Don't run at 100%. Time buffers. Don't compress everything to minimum. Actual data flows. Critical paths. Identify single points of failure. What if this database fails? What if this person leaves? What if this vendor goes down? Document workarounds and shadow IT. Where's the real data? Often, spreadsheets. What processes aren't in official systems? Who has tribal knowledge? Complexity you don't understand will fail unexpectedly. Action. Reduce complexity where possible. Consolidate shadow systems. Document critical processes. Eliminate unnecessary dependencies. Where you can't reduce complexity, add monitoring. Action. 3. Align incentives. Structurally alignment audit. Where do incentives diverge? Your incentives versus vendor incentives. Short-term metrics versus long-term health. Department goals versus company goals. How could misalignment manifest? Vendor. Paid by hour. Slow project. Sales. Commission on bookings. Bad fit customers. Engineering. Measured on features. Technical debt. What protections exist? Fixed price contracts. Align vendor incentives. Long-term metrics. Align executive incentives. Cross-functional goals. Align department incentives. Misaligned incentives eventually diverge. Action. Structure alignment into contracts and compensation. Fixed deliverables, not hourly billing. Long-term success metrics, not just quarterly. Shared risk-reward where possible. Action. 4. Build breakage indicators. Early warning sign system. Optimization indicators. Utilization approaching 100%. Buffer removal proposals. Efficiency initiative. Announcements. Complexity indicators. No one fully understands this system. Documentation significantly out of date. Tribal knowledge concentration. Misalignment indicators. Vendor relationship tension. Incentive structure changes. Trust erosion signals. When you see multiple indicators, you're approaching Phase 5, trigger event. Action. Increase resilience before trigger hits. Add redundancy. Simplify where possible. Realign incentives. Don't wait for the breakdown. We've covered a lot in this season. 9 catastrophic failures, 3 universal laws, 1 predictive framework. But here's what I want you to remember. Breakdowns aren't random. They look random because we don't see the patterns. But once you understand the 3 laws, law number 1, optimization fragility. Law number 2, complexity collapse. Law number 3, misaligned convergence. You start seeing them everywhere. The next CrowdStrike is being built right now. Someone's removing safety buffers for efficiency. The next SVB is accumulating concentration risk. Everyone's optimizing for the same thing. The next FTX is hiding complexity. Misaligned incentives waiting to diverge. But here's the thing. If you see the patterns before they break, you can change the outcome. Identify fragility. Add buffers. Map complexity. Reduce or monitor align incentives. Structure protection. This isn't about preventing all failures. Complex systems will fail, but you can choose fast, catastrophic failure, optimized, complex, misaligned, or slow, manageable failure, buffered, understood, aligned. The difference is, one destroys the system. One lets you adapt and survive. This is the breakdown economy. Season 1. We've examined how systems fail. Season 2 will examine how systems survive. The companies that learn from breakdowns. the redesigns that worked, the resilience that held under stress. Because for every breakdown, there's a system that didn't break, and that's the pattern worth studying next. I'm Tony. Thank you for joining me this season. See the patterns, map your fragility, and don't wait for the breakdown to build resilience. I'll see you in Season 2.